Hey everybody, welcome to our next virtual adventure here at Nauticus. We have something really cool planned for you guys. We are going to be doing a squid dissection.
Alright, how's it going? So, my name is Taylor, I'm one of the educators here, and this is?
My name is Victoria, I'm the education manager here.
Alright. So today we are going to be doing a squid dissection, but to get started we need to take a really good look at our squid before we look on the inside. So we are going to talk about his external features, so everything we can see on the outside. So if you notice on this side, we're able to see all of these black looking dots. Looks kind of like a lot of freckles. These are what are called chromatophores. So these are how the squid are able to not only change their color, but also the texture of their skin. And the other thing that's really cool is he is exhibiting what's called counter shading. So his chromatophores are really dark, really present on this top side. And then when we flip him upside down, they're a little bit lighter. So this is really important for animals in the marine environment because when they are swimming and there is a predator underneath of them, their lighter belly is going to blend in with the sunlight. Whereas if the predator is on top, this darker top part is going to blend in with what's below them. So this is what's called the mantle. So that's where we were looking at the chromatophores and the counter shading. We are also going to take a really cool look down here at our tentacles. So these are the tentacles. We are actually able to see, I don't know if you guys can see that on camera, but you can see all of their suction cups right there. And these guys also have two tentacles that are a little bit longer than the rest, if we can untangle them.
You might have a younger one.
Yeah, I do. They're
You
really
can really
small.
see it on this one though.
Thank you.
So can you see how much longer these ones are than the rest of them up here? So those two tentacles are called the squid's club.
Awesome. And then if you guys want to take a look, right in the middle of all the tentacles is actually their mouth. So this is called a radula, and I don't know if you're able to see, it looks like a really small beak. And so this is the part of the structure of cephalopods, so octopus, squid, and cuttlefish. This is what determines how small of an opening they can go through. This is their harder structure. And so if you guys are able to see that, that is how they are going to eat. And then Victoria is going to open up our squid, and we're going to take a look inside.
Yeah. And I will say, squids are predators. So in combination, those clubs and the beak that it just had, that's how our squid is actually going to hunt, reach out with its clubs, grab the prey, and then bring it up towards its mouth. The Taylor just showed between all of those tentacles. But if you noticed, she showed the mantle and then she showed kind of that lower body and tentacles. The mantle is very separate from the actual lower body of the squid. And so as we cut into our squid, which I will do right now, I'm going to start with the adult and then we may actually cut into the juvenile as well, just so you can see that. As we cut into our squid, you can see I can actually kind of just pull the mantle straight up and cut straight up. That's because as our squid swims through the water, it's actually going to swim using propulsion. So it'll pull water up into its mantle and then expel it by kind of flexing its mantle basically, but push all that water back out and propel itself through the water. So as I just cut it open and kind of laid it out, you can really clearly see that its body is kind of just loosely held inside of the mantle, right? But as we go up, you'll see a couple different organs. The easiest ones to really be able to differentiate are, do you see these two right here, kind of that I've pulled to the side? They look a little feathery. I know right now they're a little goopy, but those are our squid's gills. So in humans, we have lungs to be able to breathe. Our squid, because it lives inside of the water, it's going to have those gills to breathe. You can see a couple other different organs in here. They're kind of all together. This darker spot right there is actually where our squid keeps its ink, and we'll go into that a little bit later where we'll actually cut into it. And as we go up our squid's body, this one's an adult. We actually have, they're called gonads up at the top, and you can see whether a squid is male or female based on the organs that it has up here. The squid is male. If it was female, it would have a bunch of little yellow eggs that you could see, kind of a big pouch of yellow eggs up top. But this one is male. If we cut into our little juvenile squid, it likely won't have either because it is very young. I'm going to cut into that real quick just to have a comparison. So that one, it is a juvenile. Likely it's male. Let's be real. But part of the reason that I've just gotten two is so that we can do this next part together. Because as Taylor mentioned, a squid has a hard part in it. And that's because a squid is a part of the phylum mollusk, so mollusca, right? And all mollusks at some point in their development or ancestrally are going to have a shell. So for most animals, this might actually be a shell that they live inside of. Think of like bivalves. But in the case of cephalopods, but especially squids, it's going to be it looks basically like a very, very thin, it almost looks like plastic. This is called a pin. It is cartilage, and it is very, very delicate and see-through. This is the remnants that the squid still has of that shell. And it is called a pin because it does look like a little feather, like quill, ink pen. And if you want to actually see me pull mine out a little closer, it runs up kind of the spine of the squid. So it's behind all of those organs, and then you basically can pull it right on out. You see? So kind of a cool experiment with squid is to actually find their ink pouch and puncture it. And you can actually write with the ink. So yeah, you might have to cut it with scissors if you can't get into it. Let's see how successful. Slightly successful. You can kind of, you really see when I wrote Nauticus with it. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. But you can really see why that would be called a pin. So those are all the different parts of our squid. The reason we have squids here at Nauticus is actually because it's a really important component to our sharks diet. So we have these kind of in our freezer, and as we feed our sharks throughout the week, even during this closure, the squid is actually one of those things that we feed them. So probably the smell is getting a little hungry. We have that smell in the air right now. So we're going to go check on our animals now. But thank you for tuning in with us, and please check back in on the next virtual adventure that we do.